Hi everyone, today I'm showing you how to sew the Jolene dress. Style is preppy, it's fitted, it's mini, it's A-line and it's got a rather conservative neckline. You can wear it without anything underneath or, as I did, with a blouse underneath. And by the way, this is the Antoinette shirt and it comes in several options. Small Peter Pan ruffle color,
big Peter Pan ruffle color, high ruffle color, short sleeve, long sleeves. Yeah.
Back to the Jolene dress. So there is an invisible zipper at the center back and the dress is lined. So in this tutorial, I'm showing you all the steps to line the dress. But if you don't want to line the dress, which is going to make your life easier, then I'm going to link to another dress tutorial that I made in the past, up there, down there, somewhere. So for the fabric, you want to take a woven fabric. It can be stretchy or not. This version that I made is in a polyviscose fabric. It's fairly stretchy, which enabled me to size down while still being able to breathe. If your objective is to sew this dress to wear during the fall winter seasons, then you might want to look into polyviscose fabrics such as mine. You can also look into wools, tweed, velvet, corduroy. Denim could actually work as well. If it's more for a spring-summer season, then crepe is still going to be nice. Linen, gabardine. I'm just not sure about viscose fabrics because they tend to be really flowy, and this dress is not the flowy kind, it's a more structured kind. But you can always test it if you're curious. Finally, if you're new to PDF sewing patterns, you're going to find the answers to your most burning questions in this other video of mine. For instance, how to download the patterns, in which printing formats do they come, what does A0 and A4 mean, which software is the best to use to open PDFs, how to use the layers, what are layers, how to pick your size, what not to do when you pick your size, and other treats. All right, let's sew. Let me first show you the pattern pieces. I'm filming in front of a window and it's sunny today. I apologize in advance for the changes in color and exposition. So we have here the front skirt cut on the fold, front bodice cut on the fold, front side panels cut twice mirrored, then the back of the skirt cut twice mirrored, back bodice parts cut twice mirrored as well, and in the center the invisible zipper, which is 60 centimeters long. Then for the lining, front skirt, front bodice, front armhole facings mirrored, back skirt, back bodice, back armhole facings, and finally the neck hole facings. Note that I have already stuck interfacing to all the facings. I'll start with sewing my facings to my lining. Here I have the back bodice and the back armhole facings. You pin right sides together. And you sew respecting 1 centimeter of seam allowance. Try and nicely spread and flatten the thinner layers so you don't sew on wrinkled areas. You do the same for the front bodice and the front armhole facings. Once you've sewed, you trim the seam allowances. You press down, and this is what you should get. Now I top stitch. This is the result. For some reason at that moment, I forgot about the existence of the neck hole facings, so I sewed them later. But let's do them now, and don't pay attention to the skirts attached to the lining, please. I'll take care of my bust dots. So you want to trace a line 1 centimeter from the edges, 1 centimeter being the seam allowance. So that way you have a guide to follow when you sew. It's useful for the tip of the darts. You'll see when you do it. Then you move to the back darts. and then you press the darts down. Now I sew the skirt parts to the bodices. I lay them right sides together. I respect 1 centimeter of seam allowance. This is what I get. I'm going to press the seam allowances open. Let's move on to the shell fabric. I trace my bust darts, I pin and I sew. There we go. And now I can make my back darts. I'll add the side panels. I press the seam allowance open. I pin the skirt to the front bodice, right sides together. I do the same for the back parts, and I sew respecting 1 centimeter of seam allowance. I'm now going to finish all the side edges of all pieces with my overlocker. Once the edges are finished, I prepare for my invisible zipper. Here, the first thing you want to do, which I forgot, is to add some interfacing along the zipper edge. What follows is my way of sewing an invisible zipper. There are other techniques out there, feel free to use the one that you prefer. I lay the back parts right sides together and I pin. I make a mark with a pen 1 centimeter from the edge of the fabric at the neck, and then you sew from this mark till the zipper notch, making basting stitches. You want to make securing stitches, by the way, at the beginning and at the end of your seam. And once you reach the zipper notch, without cutting the thread, while the needle's up in the air, you switch to your regular stitch length and keep sewing till the bottom of the skirt. You press the seam allowance open. Now I pin my zipper and I'll baste it to my center back seam allowance. You don't want to sew close to the zipper teeth, just stitch in the middle of the seam allowance. Also, you want to stop your basting seam about 1-2 centimeters after the zipper notch. You don't want to baste too far below, or else it's going to handicap us to do a future step. I've basted my zipper. Now I can remove the first basting seam I made, the center back one. And as a result, it's going to look like this. you pull the zipper head right till the bottom of the zipper, beyond the zipper notch. That's why you didn't want to baste it too far down, so that you can pull the head. If it's hard to reach, you can grab some tweezers or pliers. You see that the teeth here are like closed or curled down. We want to open them so it's easier to stick our needle in the right spot here while sewing. I'm going to press the zipper teeth open. Once it's done, check that everything is to your liking and pull the zipper. And I'm not going to remove the basting threads. Little side note, if you like this video, please consider hitting the subscribe button. I lay my front and back parts right sides together and I sew them at the shoulders. Press the seam allowance open, and I do the same with the lining. I lay my shell and lining right sides touching, and I sew together along the zipper at the neckline. So I've pinned everything. Here's my zipper notch. You respect 1 centimeter of seam allowance around the neck, and along the zipper you sew close to the teeth in the seam allowance of it, but no need to sew too close either. Once it's done, you turn the fabric inside out to check that your seams are nice. If it's the case, you trim the seam allowance wherever you have a curve or an angle. Press down. I'm going to understitch the neck hole. And I close the bottom of the lining. Now we're closing the armholes. I'll let you observe the operations here. After that, you trim. I did it later, but it's better to do it now. You turn inside out, and you repeat the process with the opposite armhole. And you give it a press. Now the sides. Press the seam allowance open, turn inside out. And finally, the hems. First, let's finish the edges of the hems, both lining and shell. Second, try the dress on and pick the length that you like. Personally, I'm fine with the 4 centimeters included in the pattern, so I'll fold my shell fabric on 4 centimeters to make a simple one-fold hem. I pin in place, and I stitch by hand. You don't want to pull too much on the thread, or else the tension will be visible on the right side of the fabric. You might have like little dots of shade. Now the lining hem. So you want the lining to come down to be in the hem of the shell fabric. I hope this makes any sense. Like you want the lining to hide the overlocker seam of the shell fabric. It has to be long enough to hide it. I'm going to fold the lining on the overlocker stitch I made. That's actually the only reason why I made it. It's not to prevent it to fray. It's really just so that it's easy to fold. And I fold twice and I sew. You give a good press to the whole project. And finally, you can admire your work and take a well-deserved nap. I really hope that you like this tutorial. See you soon and take care. Kiss.